Alright, what you see here is a Harbor Breeze Sienna ceiling fan. It is in the antique pewter finish, and I got this from the anonymous eBay seller. This one is from 2003. I think it's from February 2003 if I'm not mistaken. But it is made by Aircool. Yeah, these fans are pretty big childhood fans for me. They're one of the few Harvey fans that I really took a liking to as a kid. Definitely has a very unique late 90s, early 2000s look to it, with a contemporary twist to it and such. I mean, they had like the Jericho's, Hampton Bay, and Harvey's Walcott, and then Moonglow. I think it was called a Walcott first and then a Moonglow, I'm not sure. But I think it was the Moonglow later on, or the other way around. But those ones are nice, but I always found this one to be a bit more unique looking, because it definitely looks more like a chandelier type of light, just with blades attached to it. Just I feel it has a more unique design, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, it is nice to see that they are kind of making Whited Housing fans are somewhat making a comeback with the River of Goods company and such. So yeah, showing it this time with the walnut side of blades, and I definitely like it more than I thought I would with this blade finish facing down, but I definitely feel I like it better with the washed oak side. And then I just feel like it goes better with the antique pewter finish. I have to say that doesn't look good with this finish, but just not as much. But yeah. Fan is in pretty good shape for its age. The 3 power Reese pulls. Yeah. The fan did need some new light bulbs in the housing. Only one of them was still working, so I replaced them all with 51 LEDs from Walmart. And it's honestly a fan I consider installing in the dining room if I was to ever put something there. Though with the medallion situation, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I feel in terms of it matching with everything else in the room, I'd probably have this blade finish facing down, even though I do like the other side more. In terms of how it looks with the fan, I feel like it would match, this setup right here would match the room better. But yeah, I wouldn't mind it in this finish, honestly. I think with this finish combo, I do like the other one more, but in terms of how it would look for the room, I feel like this would be the better choice, as it is more darker wood furniture in that room. Here it is, the white. They did come out with a weathered bronze version, I think it was called, later on, in the mid to late 2000s. I'm not sure how long they sold them in the antique pewter finish. From what I know, these were introduced in 2003 and sold for who knows how long. But I know they were like discontinued sometime in the early 2010s. The bronze one, that is, the antique pewter one at that point was already discontinued. Let me turn off the lighting behind me just to do a lighting test. And as expected, it does do a good job lighting wise. I don't know, I feel like if it was like a darker wood finish, I feel like it would look nicer. I don't know, actually, I really do actually like it with this finish now that I'm looking at it more with the light on. Oh, this blade set also on this side is a little bit more rough than the other one in terms of the finish. Whereas the other one, the other side was more scratched up. This side's more faded looking, I feel. Though there is another one of these I do got. that. I thought of using it as a parts one, but it turns out it's actually in better shape than this one, so I'll probably just keep both and just combine both and the parts from the best parts from each one onto one. Well, that one, the other one's just more cleaner than this one, but yeah. All right, now to do just a down weight. If I was to install this in the dining room, I honestly would probably have it hooked up to a remote, but I'd honestly end up using the up weight and a down weight, not just one of them. If I had a bronze one of these, I'd probably put it in my mom's room because I think she would like it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I do have a few other lighting housing fans I could put in there if I wants to put one there. But yeah, let me go ahead and start off on the low speed. These fans are made by air cooling. This fan has, I think, a 172 mode. I don't think it's 188, but I know it's definitely not 153 millimeters. And it definitely is a pretty good performer considering it's a Harbor Breeze fan. But I mean, it is made by air cool, so that definitely helps its case. Yeah, I don't know. I like the other side a bit better on the fan. I feel like it just makes it look a little bit less cheap. I mean, definitely, I don't think this is a cheap fan in terms of the price point. I definitely feel it was one of the more expensive ones from Lowe's back in the day. But in terms of like just how it looks, I feel like the wavy finish on the Walnut side looks a bit more flimsy, cheap paper overlay, where the other one looks at least more realistic, which is why I like it better on this fan. It has a good low speed to it. It's pretty quiet. It's not really making any noise at all. There's a very tiny hum, but it's very noticeable at all and such. Whenever I do test the other one down here, I'll probably have it flush mounted just because there was a hair salon somewhat close by to me that had two of them flush mounted. I don't remember if they had the lighter oak side facing down, if it was the walnut. I'm pretty sure it was the lighter oak, but I always just found it to be such a cool install. Sadly, they're no longer there, but it was a really cool install, and just seeing them in that install also made me like them a lot more and such. Let's shut off the light. Yeah, honestly, like when it has the light on, I actually do like it with the walnut side a lot more than I think, but it's just when the light's off, I'm not as big of a fan of it. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it would. I feel like I'd like it a lot with this finish because it would match better. I don't know. I think if I was to like do it with the other blade set that's in better shape, that's more cleaned off and such. That'd get a better opinion of it. You know, if the light's on, it definitely looks more appropriate and such. And I know some people would say, oh, if I install it down, I should put it on a longer down rod. I could, but for something like this that has that's already kind of bulky looking as it is, I'd rather not have it hang too low and such. And some might say, oh no, you got better fans, so don't put this up. I do have better fans, but the thing is, if I was to put something in there, I'd kind of want something to have this type of look to it, like a late '90s, early 2000s look, like the contemporary look from that time period, but like the elegant contemporary look that they had back then, like the Cameron 2 Pluses, like that style, but like with a lighted housing. And plus, a lot of the furniture we have in there is actually kind of some sort of walnut finish of sorts. So in a way, it would work. Other fans I thought of putting in there are the Arthur Nove, the pewter ones that I got. If I had a brass one, I'd consider that too. But I'd rather put a brass one in my mom's room if I had one. And the pewter Art Nouveau I'd like to put, but I think it's just too fancy looking for the look that I want for that room. If I was to put something in there. Whereas this is kind of like more of the look. It has more of a chandelier look to it, and I feel like that's more appropriate looking for a dining room. And this fan performs good enough in the room. We're really not in there much. It's more so just to have something in there to circulate the air and push the heat down, or such in the winter, and to help circulate the air in the summertime, because that room does get pretty hot. Not enough that it would need a Casablanca. I mean, and the reason why I don't really feel like it needs that strong of a fan in there is because we're not in there too much, but since there is the fishing gets in that room, I've been really considering putting something in there. The only fan that's really in that room is the Hunter Century table fan. And it has to be knit to in that closet. But even then, my mom has mentioned that she isn't opposed of having a chandelier in there or some sort of light. So at some point I am thinking of having maybe Nathan come over and do something to get it where it's safe enough to have a fan there. And just have it on a swag kit, which I'm not a big fan of, but with this fan I feel like it would look okay enough if I have it in white, where it blends in, where it's not that noticeable. And this fan actually does have a hole on the canopy to punch out for it too, so. The reason why I feel like it's definitely doable, because there was that open house I went to like 5 years ago now. That had the two Copper Verde Cameron 2s and Hunter Vista and the iron finish. I remember that those Cameron 2s, they were like on the same type of medallion, but they had like a box and they kind of made them hung down lower, but I noticed that they were on it. So I definitely feel like it's doable with this place too. But yeah. All right, now for medium. I know I haven't really shown a lot of appreciation towards the Harvey's fans from when I was from like the 2000s era, but they are pretty big childhood fans for me too. Not as much as the Hampton Bay ones and Hunter, but they are pretty big childhood fans for me too. And since there are quite a bit of Harvey's models that I have gotten over the past few years that I have yet to reveal, I'll definitely express it more in those videos when I reveal those fans and test them. This is definitely one of the ones that was like on my top of the list that I wanted to get. There's another one that I've been wanting to get for a while. It's the one that it basically looks like a window, but it doesn't have those gloss window looking blades. It's just straight blades that go out. It's some sort of latex relabeled thing. They came in like black with black blades. I don't know if they reversed the rose one or not. They had white, an all white one that had white reversible blades, and then they had like a steel one with washed oak blades and maple-ish, or in walnut ones. Like they looked so similar to the Windward too, but they weren't. They didn't have the gloss wind blades. The blades were glossy on them, and I do remember that. I just can't remember what the name of them was. Those are one I'd love to find at some point, but I don't know if they sold them for that long or not, but there's quite a few stuff from the 2000 Harveys that I like a lot, that I'd love to find. Despite there being quite a few Lowe's around me, there was more Home Depot, so in terms of finding them on Marketplace isn't as easy, but at some point I'll find them, hopefully. Yeah, I definitely feel like if I was to put this up in the dining room, it'd probably be this finish. Could also does give it a nice contrast too, which I like. One thing I do know, like if I was to put this up, I'd probably try to get something put up in my mom's bedroom as well. Now for my mom's room, I'd probably want to put something that's four-bladed or something Victorian looking. Like maybe even the Concept Victorian I have. There's always I'm trying to think. The only thing is if I did a Victorian, I don't know if I'd have it with the 5 white. I might do the 4 white and take off the center fixture on it, but I'm not too sure. Alright, I might have it up there and then just have it with like a 3-way light where it could be all 4 on the outside, the center one, and then all 4, and then the center one on as well. Just because I have been wanting to put something that's 52 inches up with 4-blade ever since I took down the low profile. That was in my bedroom, the white one, quite a few years back. But I feel like the dining room could work with one, but I feel like my mom's room, since it's the oldest looking room, would work best with a 4-bladed fan. Another thing I could put there is the Art Nouveau that I have in Pewter. I kind of don't want to do that only because I already have the brushed nickel Panama 2 in my room, and if this was to go up, it'd be another silver looking fan. So and also I don't have any brass fans up except for the Minuet 2 in the closet. And also it would be a nice representation of something from the 80s. But yeah, the fan definitely is nice looking. It's definitely a pretty solid build, Harvey fan. Alright, let me shut the light off and move it up to high. Originally I was kind of hesitant putting something like this in the dining room if I do end up doing that, but since I have a second one of these that I still need to reveal, I'm not as hesitant about it now. And the fan's definitely built well enough that I wouldn't be worried about putting it in there. The only thing I'd be more concerned about is the blades warping or drooping downwards, but then again, I have a second set of blades, so it's not really a big deal. It's definitely a good performer. It's honestly pretty similar to, basically it's about like the same area as like a spinner motor Hunter air movement. I want to say exactly the same, but it's pretty close to it. It's honestly almost like about the same as the Remington 4, the white one I tested that's made by Aircool. Well, that one I definitely feel moved a bit more air than this, without a question. And that one definitely was one I considered putting in the kitchen for a bit in place of the low profile plus that's there, but I ended up deciding against it only because I feel like it was too similar to the Black Infinity Wishing, and also I feel it could make the Black Infinity look even more dated looking and such. So I decided to leave the low profile where it was. Plus, the low profile plus has more of a kitchen look than that fan does, anyways. So there was also that. Plus, my mom actually did say that she prefers the lighting that's on the low profile plus compared to the one that's on the Infinity for the kitchen and such. That gave off better lighting, which is true. So yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a very good performer. Like it's something that could, in terms of like seeing it out in like public, I could see this like in a salon, jewelry store, libraries, restaurants, court offices, lawyer offices, and such. But yeah, it's definitely something I'd recommend for those type of locations and such. Yeah, let me show off the other. Just a downlight, then uplight, and then I'll shut it off, do spin down. Alright, shut off, do spin down, then I'll show it on reverse. Spin down on it's about 2 minutes almost. No, actually, I need to double check because I keep saying it's antique pewter, but it actually might be aged pewter. I gotta double check that, but I'll have the correct one in the the title of the video. I'm just not going to redo the whole video just because I might have been accidentally called it the incorrect finish, but yeah. And as you can see, there is one of the ways that has some finish loss. This one right here. If I was to install this, I wouldn't use this blade set with the walnut side facing down. I'd use the other one that's in better shape. All right, now to show it in reverse. Now for the lights, both the down and up light. Then now for just a down light. Now for just up light. And now for medium. One thing I can definitely say is that if this fan was to be in the dining room, I probably wouldn't bother reversing it in the winter. Only because it's already high enough up that it wouldn't really need, there wouldn't be a need for that. Plus I would do more, I don't know, I mean, I'd had to see how it does in the winter time if I was to install it there, running out in low and just downdraft. It might be too much of a breeze, it might not be. But since it's higher up, it might actually be. I know like with fans that are higher up, it's better to just leave them on downdraft to push the heat down for the winter time. But if it's like on a flush mounted ceiling or a low ceiling, it's better to just reverse them. It's more so just so you don't feel the breeze or the draft of it as much. And this is something that would probably run almost 24/7 just because it would help push the heat from that side of the apartment onto the other one, because both the dining room and my mom's room are the warmest rooms in the house. Well, my mom's room is actually the warmest for the other and such, so it would help circulate the heat and push it towards the other side, which is more cool. So yeah, now for high. Interesting how it wobbles less on reverse as well with this side of the blades facing down, as it did that with the other side. And honestly, it might have been this way finish facing down at that salon that I saw these at as a kid. I never did get pictures of them, unfortunately, and I can't find pictures of the place online from that time period with the fans installed still, so yeah. I want to say they were removed like around 2011, I think.